Hi loves, welcome. I'm just trying to turn my music off. Welcome back to the Wild Feminine Way podcast. We are on episode 2. I'm just opening up my notes and the Facebook group on my laptop since for some reason it never fucking works from my phone. So in today's episode, we are going to talk about you don't have to know the how the money comes when it comes to manifestation. I have the incense right next to me today, as you can see. I don't know that that is going to work much better. Let's move it to this side. All right. Going to be super honest. I've been that's literally going right in my face. I've been a little bit cranky and emotional this morning. It's been a little bit of a roller coaster. I feel the shift of Scorpio season getting ready to start. Let me know how you're feeling. We're just gonna have the fucking smoke in my face. That's today's vibe. All right, so without further ado, let's dive into today's episode. You don't have to know the how. You don't have to know how the money comes. You just know that it motherfucking is. Okay, cool. We are live. We are working. I was just double checking the Facebook group. So, per usual, my flow for doing lives and calls is we're going to take a minute here in just a second to ground into the present moment. We're going to breathe together. I'll guide you through that. I'm going to share a quick story with you and other quick stories of how I have personally manifested random ass large sums of money from the most unexpected ways over the last, I guess, decade or so. I was trying to do the math yesterday when I posted about it. I think it's been over 10 years. Approximately. Then I will open it up for questions if anyone's on the live. If you're not on the live, then if you're on the replay of this podcast, whatever platform you are on, please feel free to leave any questions in the comments below. And then we'll get into a quick channeled message, which I did channel that message yesterday when I was preparing, but I think I'm also going to pull a card from the Ancient Stones Oracle. And then if you want to keep on learning about this shit, I don't know why I said that in that accent, then stay on till the end, because today's just a little blurb, a little sneak peek of this work with me. I see 2 people jumping on live. Hello, Carlos. Hello, Amy. I can't see the comments on my phone, so let me just check the computer. Here we go. Hello, lovely. Thank you, beautiful Amy. All right, so like I said, we're gonna breathe, which I'll guide us through in a minute. I'll do a quick story about how I've manifested large sums of money in crazy ways over the years. I'll open up for questions. Then we'll do channel messages, and like I just said, I'll tell you how to keep doing this work. And as I said at the beginning, I've been a bit emotional today. I feel like there's still residual clearing from the full moon last week, so let me know how you're feeling. Scorpio season does start tomorrow, like I said, and I'm repeating myself because people are jumping on the live. So go ahead, close your eyes, get comfortable in the space. Just start by giving yourself a hug. I feel like we might have done this last week. Whatever you're feeling guilty about right now, whatever you're feeling embarrassed or shame about, whatever you're not forgiving yourself about, please forgive yourself right now, my love. I've been having to do this to myself this morning. This is apparently a collective theme that is coming up today. Forgive yourself. You did not fuck it up. You've always been doing the best that you could. And you're doing fucking incredible. All right. So putting a hand over your heart, over your belly, we're going to do 3 deep breaths in and out. And as always, on the exhale, I invite you to audibly sigh, make whatever kind of noise you need to make, and move your body however you need to move it to release. Mine may be even more crazy today than usual, just to let you know, since I'm going through the feels. So taking a deep breath in. And let it out. The train. And on our last 2 deep breaths in, I invite you to see this beautiful pink energy of love, of unconditional love, compassion for yourself, for others, of beauty, of joy, of the planet Venus. I'm feeling Aphrodite's energy, Mary Magdalene. So seeing this beautiful energy pouring through your crown as you breathe in. And relax relax and let it go. Oh, my back just cracked in a million places. It felt so good. I feel all this heart chakra stuff for sure. Okay. Last time, breathing in. Oh, and let it out. Let it go. And just feeling this calming pink energy, the love of Mary Magdalene, of the beautiful planet Venus, of Aphrodite, the beautiful goddess of love. It is the last day of Libra season, so I guess they wanted to make an appearance. We're here for it. I already feel better. And whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. All right, loves, let me know how that little meditation went for you. I was strongly feeling those guides with us. So like I said, we're going to start with some story time. I'll open it up for questions. We'll do channel messages, and then I'll share with you how you can keep learning about this work. Welcome to podcast episode 2. So fucking excited to be here. And I do just want to share really quick, the whole reason I named this podcast The Wild Feminine Way is because I have manifested lots of money, lots of success over the years. And the key for me that I have learned has been being in my feminine energy. So for so many years, I was in like the wounded masculine hustle energy, and like the key to lasting success and sustainable success is really being tapped into both your feminine and your masculine. So everything that I teach now, I'm still teaching a lot of the same things I've taught over the years: manifestation, money, business, but I'm also teaching so many more in-depth things now, like astrology and healing and death and rebirth. And there's so many like pillars to our feminine energy, like our intuition, our emotions. There's so much to it. So every little podcast episode will be sprinkled with a little bit of that, and everything that I teach will be sprinkled with a little bit of that, because those are the tools that have literally changed my life in so many motherfucking ways. So without further ado, let's dive into the story. So if you didn't know, I just recently moved cross country again for the 7th time to San Diego, California. And yesterday I decided to do this podcast. It was just like a download that came in. I think it might've been inspired from a FaceTime I had with my bestie on Saturday. And I was just like sharing with her like how passionate I am about teaching people money, manifestation, and business, and how I was like in this imposter syndrome energy of like, I've been through all of this shit and all of this loss, but I've also come out on the other side and rebirthed, I meant to say, and been rebuilding my business after basically starting over after almost 13 years of business. And my move to San Diego, actually the move for that, the money came in a very unexpected way. So I talked about this a little bit in my Goddess Power virtual retreat in August, but I had been wanting to move. If you didn't know my story, let me backtrack for a second. I was in Hawaii, living there for the 3rd time during COVID, when we all went into, what is it called? Lockdown, whatever the fuck the word is. And at the end of 2020, I decided that I wanted to go back to my hometown in South Carolina because my parents were still there. Everybody's getting older. You know, COVID was still new. We didn't know exactly what was happening. So I made the decision to leave. And I was like, oh, I'll just stay here for a few months and then maybe I'll go live in California again in 2021. Well, long story short, but I talk about it in all my posts and several videos. I ended up just leaving there a month and a half ago, approximately now. I had so much why did I say inner? I think I was gonna say inner childhood trauma, and so much to fucking heal. And like the universe basically put me in a fucking timeout so that I could like slow down and heal this shit, which again is why I'm so passionate about teaching the feminine energy, because sometimes when we're in that hustle, wounded masculine energy for so many years, that can happen to us. We can be forced to slow down. So anyways, I did not have clarity on where I wanted to move for a very long time. And I tried to move so many different places. I'm trying to keep this, it's very hard for me sometimes to condense stories because I love talking, but I do want to keep these podcasts simple. So I finally started to get clarity. I almost moved to Miami, Florida. I almost moved to the Keys in Florida. I almost moved to Asheville, North Carolina. I almost moved back to Hawaii, to Kauai. I almost moved to Costa Rica. And then this year, this year, I'm trying to think of what month it is. Approximately a month or so before I actually moved out here, I finally got clear that I wanted to move to San Diego. And I had gone through this whole situation where my parents were helping me temporarily with money because I was I'm still have been going through this transition in business. And they're like, all right, you're cut off. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. So I was kind of freaking out a little bit, but I was like, well, something's got to happen. I had just quit my job. I went 10 years without working for anybody else but for myself, but I got a part-time job at the yoga studio in my hometown last year to supplement my income. But I had just quit that after like tracking my income for 6 months. In February, I quit it. And then like a month later, my income started going down. So I was like, fuck. So anyway, my parents cut me off a couple months after that. And then I ended up selling my Jeep, and I manifested, what was that? $15,000 or $16,000. I can't remember the exact amount, and paid my Jeep off and used the rest of the money to move and to fund moving and paying rent for the first few months. I never would have fucking figured out that that was how I was going to move. First of all, I really didn't want to sell my Jeep. I love my Jeep. I got that Jeep when I lived in LA in 2018, and it was straight off my vision board. I loved it, but I was really getting tired of paying the monthly payments, and I was like, you know what? Something's got to give. Something's got to change. So my dad suggested to sell the Jeep, actually. It was his idea. And this is just an example of how we're always being divinely guided. And then after that, I had been applying for like jobs and stuff in other places. I'd been having interviews, been building the business, but I still was like thinking that like the money had to come from one of those ways for me to move. And then I was talking to a friend one day, and she's like, why don't you just use the money that you got from selling your Jeep to move? And I was like, oh my fucking God, why don't I? Like, why didn't I think of that? So that wasn't necessarily like crazy, but it was so unexpected because I never would have thought about it myself. And literally, like I said, a month after I got clarity finally that I wanted to go to San Diego, after looking for places for like 2 to 3 weeks, I finally found a place and then moved here. Like, I think I booked it for like 2 weeks after I found it. But not only like this time, there's been so many times over the years, like when my prior business, I think I made 6 figures for 2 or 3 years. It's hard to remember. When that business, like I had like $130,000 a year. And then in 2017, it dropped down to 80,000. And then in 2018, right after I moved to LA, it dropped to 50,000. And that year, there were so many random ways money came to me. Like I pretty much still manifested 6 figures that year, even though it didn't come from my business. So that year I was like needing money to help pay for rent because my income like all of a sudden went down so much at that time in my prior business. And I was just like praying, and I'm like, you know, I had a 401k for the 4 years that I had like a corporate job after undergrad. And then I was like, I don't know, there's probably not much money in it. And then literally the next day, my mom called me and she's like, don't you have a 401k? And I was like, all right, universe. I had $17,000 left in that 401k because I never touched it. I didn't even know how to access it. Somehow I fucking figured it out. What's another example? Oh, I think it was in 2021. A friend told me about this PPP business loan that entrepreneurs could apply for because of COVID, and you didn't have to pay it back as long as you could prove that you're using it for business expenses, which part of that was paying yourself. You didn't have to pay it back. So I applied for that, and I think that was $15,000 as well. Apparently 15,000 or around that number, it seems to be my lucky number. Also, when I was first, because I've been debt-free twice, and I'm working on doing it a third time because I do have debt again right now. The first time I became debt-free, I was actually married, which I talked about on the last podcast, for a very short time when I was 19, and he was in the military. And in South Carolina, you had to be separated for a year before you got divorced. So I got half of his housing money each month, and I used all that money to pay off my debt back then. Never could have predicted that that would be the way to pay it off, but I just kept focusing. And then same thing, the second time I became debt-free, a big majority of that was because my prior business started making 6 figures. But I also ended up paying off my car at the time because my grandma passed away and she left a bunch of money to us, and I got the amount to pay off my car. I think that was like $10,000 or $15,000 too. So, and then like, I feel like I've had like random people who just let me borrow money or gave me like a loan. Like that even happened to me in LA. I think like one of my dad's friends gave me a loan for like $3,000. And there's just so many motherfucking ways that the money can come to you is the point that I'm trying to make. So like the title of this episode says, we have to let go of the how. We have to let go of how it comes, and we have to stop fixating on it coming from a specific way. And if you have a business, this applies to business as well. Like, I know sometimes when we're in business, we can get so excited that like this person is interested in our program or working with us or whatever it is we're offering. But we just have to be detached because 1, not everyone's meant to work with us. 2, it's not always the right timing. And 3, like there's so many people that will be eager to buy what you have to offer. So it's just having like an abundance mindset. Now there's so many other layers to this when it comes to money manifestation. But like I said, I wanted to keep this podcast episode brief. So that's what I'll share for today, until we do questions and do a channeled message really quick. But yeah, guys, like I have a post typed up I'm probably going to share tomorrow about all of the successes that I've had with money and business over the years and all of the losses that I've had. And this kind of ties into the channel message that I'll just share really quick. And while I'm saying this, I will just ask if anybody has any questions, please type them in the chat box. And like I said, if it's on the replay, feel free to type them down there as well. So I just forgot what I was going to say. Oh, I was talking about all my successes over the years, all my losses. So we have to understand that our past and our current circumstances don't dictate our future. That was the channel message I got yesterday. So like I shared at the beginning of this, I went through a lot of really hard stuff. I didn't even really talk about a lot of it just for the sake of time. While I was in my hometown for over 3 years, it was almost 4 years, and so much healing past trauma. And I have a lot of posts out there where I talk about this. I think it's actually pinned to the top of my Facebook and Instagram pages, where I talk about that time frame being my initiation. And I had like 2 years of confusion and not knowing what I wanted to do in my business, and 2 years of fucking dark nights of the motherfucking soul. And let me know if you've ever been through one of those. I've been through so many. I feel like collectively we've even been going through many ones, many as in M-I-N-I, but also several lately, depending on your journey. But this time of confusion and the dark nights of the soul, it's literally just the old crumbling away so that our true heart's desires can come in, and so that we can make room for what is authentic for us. And it's our preparation for all that we prayed for. If I wouldn't have gone through all of this, if I wouldn't have had all this loss within my business, with money, with everything, I wouldn't be where I am today doing what I've been fucking dreaming of doing since 2015, because I like will go back and read old journals and stuff about it. And like I said, also, sorry, I just lost my train of thought. Like, we also sometimes are forced to slow down and heal. So the point I'm trying to make with this, the reason that this message came up, it came up for me. And I was like, yesterday when I was channeling, I'm like, I think other people need to hear this too. Because for me, I let all of those situations that happened, what is the word I'm looking for? I basically consider myself a failure because of all of that shit. And then I felt like an imposter. Like, who the fuck am I to teach money manifestation and business and all this stuff when I went through all of this? But the thing is, I do know my motherfucking shit. I've been doing this shit for 10 motherfucking years. And there was just, sometimes I have a whole live that I talked about this. It's on the YouTube channel and here in the Facebook group, where sometimes our soul just has certain lessons that we sign up for, that we needed to go through, because it is our preparation, like I said. Because I obviously had shit that I needed to learn about what to do and what not to do with money and business, even though I manifested all this stuff. And now I can handle even more than ever before. And I'm also doing now what is true and authentic to me in ways that are true and authentic to me. Not that it wasn't in the past, but the way that I was going about it just like wasn't authentic to my true self, to my authentic self. All right, let me just see if any questions came in. Okay. So yeah, like another reason I felt inspired to do this is because there's so much shifting in the world right now when it comes to money, to business, to career. Like, I feel like every single fucking person that I talk to is going through some kind of transition, including myself. So I just want you to know there is nothing wrong with you. You're not broken. And like I said, the whole title of this podcast, you have to let go of the how. You don't have to know the how it's coming. Just let the fuck go. Step into receiving mode. I did a reel about that this morning. Receiving mode is just taking the aligned action and then letting go. getting off the fucking computer if you have a business or whatever, and just having fun. And like I said, there's so much more layers and steps to all of this that if you want to keep learning more, I will share in just a moment how to do that after I pull a card for us. And I would love to hear from you too in the comments below, like, what is going on in your world? Like, how much has shifted and changed for you? And the word forgiveness is just like coming up again so hardcore. Like, please do some kind of forgiveness ritual for yourself. Please, please, please treat yourself as if you were your own best friend. If your best friend was going through the shit that you're going through, you would not berate them. Like, sometimes you berate yourself. And this is a message for me too. Like I said, I was working on this morning myself. What is the message that needs to come through for my beautiful listeners? I just heard, stop making it so goddamn hard on yourself. It gets to be easy. Making money doesn't have to be hard. We just think that it is because of conditioning. Yes, societal conditioning. Yes, you have to take action. But the more you follow what lights you up and the more fun that you have and the more you stop forcing and controlling, that's when you let go. That's when you come into receiving mode. All right, we got 2 cards. I got both of these this morning myself. The first one we have is, and I hear a crow. I was going to say barking. Oh my God. Crows don't bark, whatever the word is. What do birds do? So what's the word? Someone tell me. Creativity, creative expression, trust your vision. So this makes me feel that whoever's listening to this has a message to speak. Sometimes we have to ask for help in many different ways when it comes to manifesting money or whatever it is we're working towards. Sometimes this might be praying and asking the angels for help and guidance. Sometimes this might be asking a friend for help or for ideas. I don't mean asking your friend to help you with money unless you feel guided to do that. But this is just making me think of like entrepreneur energy. And even if you're not an entrepreneur, I feel like creatively expressing yourself in some way is going to help, but it really feels like throat chakra. So even if you just like journal for yourself, write for yourself, and it says trust your vision. So think about more ways that you can tap more into that having faith energy, which we're going to be doing some of that fucking shit in my membership on the Money Manifestation Goddess Circle on Thursday, which I shall share more about in a minute. We have lay it on the altar, hand it over, soften, surrender, forgive. That's literally everything we've already said. That's why, like, I love channeling messages and then how the cards just, like, repeat what I said. And I'm like, okay, cool. Word, we got it. Hand it over. Soften. Surrender. Forgive. And I'm hearing, like, slow down, too. So, yeah, lay it all on the altar of the Great Mother, of God, of the angels, whatever you believe in. Hand all your worries over to them. Ask them to intervene, to transmute all these negative, heavy energies of stress and worry that are weighing you down. And again, forgive. Forgive yourself. Forgive whoever you need to forgive. Surrender. I'm being drawn to, this message came through in the first podcast episode, was water. Take a bath. Go walk at the beach. Those are ways that you can tap into that surrender energy of the sacral chakra. All right, love. So that's what I got for today. And if you haven't heard yet, I'm launching a new membership. It's also called the Wild Feminine Way membership. This is the podcast. And we launch on Thursday. And we are doing a Money Manifestation Goddess Circle on Thursday. I can't remember what time it's at. I think I set it for like 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. But it's on the website, which I'll link in the comments below. My original idea was to, like, download I got was to talk about claiming your power, which we are still going to do that either in that or the second call. But I really strongly felt like we needed to do a Money Manifestation Goddess Circle. So that will be on Thursday. And I will basically be sharing more of the tools in depth and other steps that we didn't talk about here today. And that goddess circle, we'll be doing a super fun money manifestation ritual, and you'll have access to hanging out with me and asking me any questions. And whenever I'm doing these group settings, I always try to like give as much like small amounts of one-on-one coaching I can to the people that show up, depending on it all just depends on the time, essentially. And then the week after that, on Halloween, is the Healing the Witch Wound Masterclass. So this is essentially for healing anything that is holding you back from speaking your truth, from stepping into your power, throat chakra, solar plexus chakra. This is perfect for entrepreneurs, but not even if you're not an entrepreneur, even if you just really want to claim your power or like speak your truth. For some reason I was going to say step into your truth. So maybe some of you are like working on stepping into your authentic self. So that is the membership info. This is on launch pricing. I may increase the price of it next month, honestly, because the price point that I have, I'm like, this is such a great fucking deal and it's amazing. And I can't believe how much is going to be in here for this price point. So if you want to secure the launch pricing, when you sign up now, up until Thursday, and hang on, I'll just say what I'm going to say first. If you sign up and secure the launch pricing this month, essentially, the first call is Thursday, then you will secure that price point forever, which is $77 a month, or you can pay bi-weekly. I think it's like $39 or $38. I can't remember. So yeah, and then there's also an option to just try out one class, and then if you like it, you can apply what you paid to the whole month for the membership. And feel free to reach out if you have any questions. The membership is really a space for manifestation, stepping into your motherfucking power, for healing, and manifesting your next level in business, in your career, with money, with life, with love, with everything, whatever it is you are working on stepping into. Because as I've shared, I have gone through so much fucking shit the almost last 13 years of business, my personal development path, my healing journey, my spiritual path, and I just love sharing the tools that have helped me transform time and time again. All right, well, I'm glad that I got to do this today because it lifted my cranky ass mood I was in earlier. So the link for that will be in the comments below. I also have many self-paced programs on my website. Those will also be linked up in the comments below. And yeah, I love you so much. What you want is on its way. Just trust. Act as if it has already happened. Know that it's already yours. And I just feel like when you feel anxious, hold your heart. Hold yourself. Tap into what your heart is saying and get out of your head. That message came through again in the last podcast episode. All right. I love you, babe, so much. Thank you for being here. I'll see you later.